Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you so much. To my super chat, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support and just thank you for supporting my voice. Your support is greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about. And in terms, ladies and gentlemen, of President Trump and him speaking, okay, let's see. There's a super chat already. Actually, it's not showing up. In terms of President Trump and his and Eric and Luke, if you could let me know who gave, for some reason, there's a super chat, but I don't have the name of the person. So I think that the individual gave before I started. So if you could let me know who did that, who was kind enough, so I can go ahead and thank the individual, that would be great. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump, he runs the Republican Party at this point. There's no doubt. He controls the GOP. And the interesting thing is that media doesn't want to admit that. Democrats don't want to admit that. Never Trump Republicans don't want to admit that. But you can see anywhere President Trump goes, if he's speaking for the first time, or if he writes a letter against, voicing his disappointment in Mitch McConnell, or doesn't want to meet with Nikki Haley, or now there's a spat or disagreement with Kevin McCarthy, you can tell that the buzz, the energy, the enthusiasm. Pamela Brown, thank you very much, Pamela. So, really quickly, thanks, Eric. Luke, Eric, thank you. Pamela Brown, thank you so very, very much for starting it off. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, that anything that Trump does brings a great deal of enthusiasm. What media, they don't understand the following. Number one, people don't like Trump because of his personality. That's maybe a little bit part of it. They like Trump because of his accomplishments primarily. He was a very good president. His social media presence, that's debatable. I would rather he toned down everything. But he was able to, we see in terms of foreign policy, there are things you can't talk about. I mean, there are channels, ladies and gentlemen, like to my super chat and to my Patreons, the people who, support my voice. Your support is greatly appreciated. It's very difficult nowadays to navigate through the waters in terms of the algorithm, in terms of, thankfully, I'm long-winded enough to voice my sentiments and thoughts. There are a couple channels numerous channels that I watch, and that are just getting, really hit badly by the algorithm to where they're demonetized and they have to reapply. And it's like, I never saw it. These are 600,000 sub channels, and they're not they have nothing, some of them have nothing to do with politics. And so it's just interesting, and I've tried my best throughout this whole time to really navigate the waters. And look, thankfully I do a good job, because you can see my titles are pretty bland. They're not really exciting, but I get my message through. Sometimes it's difficult, but I do get my message across. So I do want to thank the people who watch, support my work, super chat, all that, because the thing is, it is difficult in this day and age. But They don't understand that, we had record low unemployment for most of President Trump's tenure. This is a fact. We had record low unemployment for most of President Trump's tenure. That is something that they've erased from history. Media has erased that from history. How can you erase that from history? Well, media found a way. They found a way to erase that fact. And you can look, ladies and gentlemen, at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The states with the highest unemployment rates are Democratic-run states. This is a fact. You can look right here. Let's see. Unemployment rates by states. I'm clicking on the Bureau of Labor Statistics right now. You can click on it. I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link right here. Bureau of Labor Statistics. You can see. Let's click on it right now. This is December 2020. Unemployment rates for states. The highest unemployment rate is Hawaii. It's a blue state. Nevada, generally blue state. California, blue state. Colorado. It goes 9.3% unemployment in Hawaii. It's not Trump's fault. They have 2 Democratic senators. Okay? You can look. All of these, Mark, hello. All of these states, Hawaii, 9.3% unemployment. That's not Trump's fault. That's a blue state. Nevada, 9.2% unemployment. They voted for Biden. California, 9% unemployment. How is that Trump's fault? Colorado, 8.4% unemployment rate. New York, 8.2% unemployment rate. So you have what de Blasio and what New York's Governor Cuomo have done. They've presided not only over the worst outcomes in terms of the pandemic, but they have an over 8.4%, 8.2% unemployment rate. That's not Trump's fault. New Mexico, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all 8%, 8.1%, D.C., 7.9%, New Jersey, 7.6%, Illinois, 7.6% unemployment, Michigan, 7.5% unemployment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, if you add Massachusetts, of the top 14 states. 13 of the top 14 states. Arizona has 7.5% unemployment, but 13 of the top 14 states and the top 12 states, if you add the top 11 states, including D.C., are all blue Democratic-run areas of the country. Almost all of them have Democratic governors, 2 Democratic senators. How is that Trump's fault? We had record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment for most of his tenure. Okay? It's not Trump's fault. That's the point. And that's what he needs to communicate, for the love of God. That's what he needs to communicate. That's what he needs to communicate. What President Trump, in my view, needs to do tomorrow, because he's going to speak tomorrow, is he needs to go how difficult is it to go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics while he's speaking and say, look, this is the reality. That's not my fault. Now let's look at the states with the lowest unemployment rate. Nebraska, 3%. That's a red state. South Dakota, red state, 3% unemployment. Iowa, 3.1% unemployment. Vermont, 3.1. This is why people watch my channel, or should watch my channel. It's not, enticing or exciting or, fascinating, or, it's kind of, this is somewhat mundane or boring, but it's exactly what President Trump needs. Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa. Now, Vermont has 3.6% unemployment, but Utah, Kansas, Alabama, 3.9% unemployment. North Dakota, Arkansas, Indiana, Idaho, 4%, around 4% unemployment. Montana, South Carolina, Wyoming. These are all red states. These are all red states. The Roz supporting the HA voice. Thank you, the Roz Rodriguez. Thank you so very much, the Roz Rodriguez. Thank you. Thank you, the Roz. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Luke St. Martin representing Texas. Hello, Luke. Eric. Thank you, the Roz Rodriguez. Thank you so very much. Very, very, very kind of you. I hope you're having a great evening. But why can't President Trump bring this up? Why can't he spend 5 minutes on this? Why can't he just, you know what, I'm going to go ahead right now, and I can't do it. I can't do a good Trump. I can't, wrong. The only thing I can say is wrong. Why can't he just read unemployment rates for states? Why can't he just read this? Why can't he just read this? This will do more for President Trump in the next 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. More for the president, more for 70 plus million supporters, more than going after McCarthy. And I get it. I understand why he would. McCarthy and McConnell, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Trump. McConnell and McCarthy have to deal with the people who just are anti-Trump, the never-Trumpers. See, they have to deal with those people because if you're in a position where you're leading D3, hello. If you're in a position where you have to kind of be like McCarthy and McConnell are the ultimate diplomats, the ultimate politicians. They're leading. One's leading the House, one's leading the Senate. But look. What they should do is side with Trump, but for some reason, they feel compelled, well, whatever. I mean, they probably think President Trump goes overboard, and in some ways he does. He just has to tone it down a bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's true that McConnell and McCarthy aren't like Pelosi. But they have Pelosi and Biden and the Democratic Party. They have a finely tuned political machine. Roz Rodriguez, thank you so very much again. They have a finely tuned political machine. Not only do they get complete and utter obedience and allegiance, everyone walks in lockstep. But they don't have to the political scene, the prevailing political discourse, or the establishment runs like it behooves people to fall in line. That's why do you think Kinzinger and Romney and Sass? Why do you think They have incentives, the incentive to oppose Trump. Even though you look at Kinzinger, he voted alongside President Trump over 90% of the time. Ben Sass voted alongside President Trump 84.8% of the time. 84.8% of the time. And he actually opposed the first impeachment. So Ben Sass, it's interesting. A lot of these never-Trumpers, they're either voting 84%, 90+%. It's not really, it's not about policies. It's about image. And What President Trump should do, and I keep saying this, is he should incentivize. The man's a billionaire. He needs to find some way in terms of some financial, or Democrats have it down. Like, they have the honest graft down. You oppose Trump, you get a book deal. You're a Democrat. Any scandal or controversy is swept under the rug. You have favorable media coverage on CNN, MSNBC. My God, you're viewed as a hero. You're championed. And if you want to engage in any type of financial endeavor, oh my God, you better believe you'll be fine. You better believe it's all good. Dianne Feinstein, Richard Burr, they all went after Trump. And they had stock traits prior to the pandemic. And you better believe that they're okay now. Like, you can't say, well, the Democrats, they have, a direct, they're able to just put dollar bills in the pockets of politicians. You can't say that. No, you cannot say that. No, that's true. But they're very, very good. The system is good at propping up Democratic politicians. If you go on Jimmy Kimmel, oh my God, he will embrace your rear end. But if you're a Republican who supported Trump, oh my, how dare you? But you know what? They never get pushback. Jimmy Kimmel, Bill Maher, Stephen Colbert, they'll never say, wait a second, did you see what the president just did right now, Biden? Do you agree with this? Why are we even there? I want to bring Americans home. Don't you want to bring Americans home? Well, we can. Well, what's the national security risk? Why? How does it benefit the country from a foreign policy perspective? Why don't you give us the answer, Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel? They won't give an answer because there is no answer. It doesn't. So I'm speaking in roundabout terms, but you know what I'm talking about. Boss Digital, hello. Deplorable, hello. David, hello. So, the Ross Rodriguez, thank you again. So you look at tracking Congress in the age of Trump, Ben Sasse. He voted alongside President Trump almost all the time. And it's like President Trump's position we see right now. We see right now that region of the world, they disapproved of his withdrawal on February 4th, 2019. Disapproving of withdrawal of U.S. forces from two countries. I'm not even going to bring up now. You can go and look. President Trump wanted to remove Americans. And the bill is strengthening America's security in that region of the world. Why we should leave that region of the world? See, this is the thing. The grandiose issues Trump is 100% right on. And history will be very kind to President Trump. If you look at Trump from the vantage point of removing the apoplectic reaction of media, and just look at what he stands for. He wanted to remove our presence, and now Biden is defending our presence. Well, we shouldn't even have a presence there. Why are we there? There's no reason. There's no reason that most, like 99% of Americans cannot give you an answer, especially the late night talk show hosts who give these sermons and preach about how horrible Trump is. They can't tell you exactly why we have a presence there. They can't tell you because we shouldn't. And, well, the one thing Sass didn't vote alongside Trump, he actually voted to condemn, along with Democrats, or he disapproved of Trump removing Americans from that region of the world. But see, again, Cheney, Kinzinger, over 90% of the time, they voted alongside President Trump. It's not about politics. It's not about politics. It's about public relations. It's about what President Trump inadvertently did, or maybe he was conscious of it, is he said, look, they don't like me. I enjoy the fact they don't like me. And my personality is I'm going to go after people who oppose me or try to unfairly disparage me or unfairly undermine what I'm doing as president. So he approached politics with a sledgehammer and a bulldozer and a right hook and a hammer and a baseball bat and, like a runaway freight train. And it was just blunt force. It was, I don't care who you are, if you're in the Republican Party, if you're in the Democratic Party, anything you do, if you can be an athlete, you could be a media person, an actor, actress, whatever. If you go after me, I'm going to go after you. If you say something, I'm going to counterpunch. I will not let it slide. And that's okay here and there. That's okay here and there. But if you're going to do so, try to be a bit more diplomatic. And if you're going to do so, pick and choose. Don't always give Democrats want you to forget, the media want you to forget that we had record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure. This is the truth. For over 2 years, we had record low unemployment. The last year of his presidency, really starting in March. And that's not hit most of his presidency. When Democrats say, well, he left us with an economy worse than, in many cases, rivaling the Depression. It's like, that is not the fault of Trump. They say, well, he presided over. Yeah, and everyone they worship presided over also. Look what's happening to New York's governor right now. Their Democratic governor is being either impeached, the momentum is to impeach them or to recall them. And you see, within the past month, has President Biden done anything to protect democracy? They say, well, okay, you know what? We need to protect democracy. We need to, we need to protect democracy. We need to protect democracy. Okay. Trump is tearing apart the Constitution. Okay. Well, how are you governing now to protect democracy? What are you doing for the past month to protect? How does your foreign policy protect them? How are you not a tyrant? How are you not a despot? All the people who gave you a bunch of bandini for voting for President Trump, they have to live with themselves pertaining to Biden's foreign policy, but they don't care. Here's the issue. And this is a reality that President Trump needs to address. It is a reality, ladies and gentlemen. He needs to address this. You can engage in a failed intervention that obliterates an entire country. But if you are viewed as a caring individual, media will give you a free pass. Of course, I'm speaking about President Obama. If your policies actually limit that type of catastrophe from an international relations perspective. You are actually opposing never-ending conflict. You are President Trump, and you want to remove American presence from regions of the world we shouldn't be in. But you're mean on Twitter? Oh, that's it. You're a despot. Because they don't care about climate change. That euphemism. It's become a euphemism now. It's important. It's an issue. We needed to address it and tackle it. Yes. Climate change is now all-encompassing. Any energy issue, any catastrophe that takes place. Oh, well, that's climate change. Oh, if you addressed it in the manner we want. They did the same thing with the pandemic, by the way. They do the same thing with the Second Amendment. Any topic, you can have a topic, somebody loses their life. You see, you didn't listen to us. It's like, yeah, people lose their life also. You know, here I'm trying to like be as algorithmically friendly as possible. Democrats will say, trust us on this policy. This policy is, if you don't listen to us on this policy, people will lose their lives. Then you have states that listen to Democrats on that policy. It could be any topic, and people still lose their lives. They don't mention it. If Republicans say anything, how dare you? You're taking advantage. But if there's a topic or a subject matter or a policy where Republicans oppose what Democrats stand for, and somebody loses their life, the first, you saw this with the pandemic too, the first people, the gleeful reaction is, ha, yo, how do you like it now? Oh, Sigma Nu UCLA, nice. Whiskey and craft beer, nice. Enjoying your show, Whiskey and Craft Beers. Thank you, Sigma Nu UCLA. Thank you so very much, Sigma Nu UCLA. Thank you. Thank you. Sigma Nu UCLA, thank you so very much. I hope all is well. Nice. Whiskey and Craft Beers, nice. Very nice. Very nice. But what I'm trying to say, and I know it's long-winded, which is part of addressing the algorithm. Focus on your accomplishments, President Trump. Focus on the accomplishments. He gave them everything they wanted on Twitter. He gave them he provided sustenance. He provided this spiritual, they gained this political momentum and enthusiasm that they don't have from their political party because their political party stands for nothing. They're not even getting the stimulus checks they wanted. They're not getting Medicare for all. They're not getting any Green New Deal legislation. They're not getting any universal basic income. They're not pretty much getting anything. Minimum wage increase they're not going to get in the manner they want. So, Sigma Nu UCLA, thank you so much. Thank you as always. What President Trump did was he was able to feed them, to give them he was able to give them this sustenance. This sustenance that, every day they woke up. See, I'm not on Twitter. I don't know if I told you. I'm not on Twitter. I haven't had Twitter for going on 3 years now. It was literally, I'm not joking, one of the best decisions of my entire life. Because when I was on Twitter, I was on the left. When I was on the left, it was always, your Medicare for All plan isn't good. My Medicare for All plan is better. Oh my God. You're going to help Trump by criticizing the Democratic Party. How dare you? Oh my God. You're really not a leftist. You're not my kind of leftist. You're not my kind of liberal. Oh my God. And on and so forth and so on. And it was just the end of the world. If you don't agree with them 1,000%, like the people who didn't like me before, when I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, they're the same people who they're actually better. I get less heat for being a supporter of President Trump. The angriest people with the most frustration and angst are on the left. Once you leave that cult and that world, it's all good. When I tell people all the time, I say, look, I support President Trump, but I'm very, very liberal when it comes to immigration. Like, nobody cares. People don't care. Like, Trump supporters don't care. They're like, oh, you support Trump? Great. You don't agree with us on certain issues? Fine, no problem. Certain topics, certain policies, no problem. If you support President Trump, it's all good. But if you're on the left, if you are a progressive or a liberal, well, first of all, if you're a liberal, you're going to disagree with progressives. And if you're a progressive, it depends. You can disagree with the far left. See, the left is composed of like 10 different factions. The further left you get, by the way, you always revert back to the Democratic Party. So there are people to the left of Bernie Sanders who actually are more vote blue no matter who than Bernie Sanders voters. There are like 10 to 15% of Bernie Sanders voters, even this past year, who said, nah, I'm not voting for Democrat. And God bless them. That's actually a smart move. But you have people to the far left of Bernie supporters who actually say, how dare you even contemplate not voting Democrat? And these people fancy themselves as the furthest left possible. Like going up against the system, but propping up the system at the same time. It's pretty unbelievable the way. See, all I would like is for President Trump. To simply address his. Does anyone know that he allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever? Made the funding permanent. He should talk about his prison reform legislation. He should talk about not just in terms of our economy did this and that. How about we had record low unemployment for most of my tenure? How hard is that for a speechwriter to just put that in the speech? For the love of God, put it in the speech. How hard is that? Just put that in the speech. You know? If you need to highlight your accomplishments. I know it's boring. I'm even boring myself. But you need to champion your accomplishments. You know, they said that Biden would save democracy, protect, save democracy, protect our Constitution. How has he done so in the past month? Well, you know what? He's not causing division. Well, okay, he's the only thing you could say about Trump that really, his Twitter presence was an obstacle to his presidency. It really was an obstacle. But if he removes that obstacle and like I said, also he needs to humanize himself. He needs to have, there are so many ways he could do so. Like I say, go on Joe Rogan. Go on Tim Pool. If he is able to just simply find creative ways to show the world that he's not this monster. See, if you vote for him, a lot of it is a shtick. He has a personality. But if you're watching my channel and you're on my live streams, you watch my uploads, you and I are not voting for. We didn't vote for President Trump because of his personality. There could be elements that you like, but that's not what drives us. most of the opposition to him is driven based on opposing his personality. That's what I don't think his advisors understood that. I really don't think that he understands that. I don't think he realizes that how influential and how powerful perception is. The perception of Trump overshadowed his accomplishments. The image that they created, that he helped them create. They wanted to turn him into a nightmare, an orange menace. Oh, the orange menace, Trump. Orange menace. He helped them kind of create that. He helped them create that persona, that image. And I'm telling you, there's so many things he could do. He could simply, here's one. Look, Greg Gutfeld, he's awesome. He has the Greg Gutfeld show. I think it's called The Five. It's so awesome. They have a fantastic cast. It's hilarious. President Trump should actually show up. He should have a monthly. He should actually show up to the Greg Gutfeld show. They should have some kind of 10-minute or 15-minute appearance via satellite or on the phone where they can just joke around and talk about things. And even if Trump says something that's, controversial or whatever, and then the media says, can you believe Trump? Trump said this. Oh my God. At least you could say, okay, wait a second. He's just, he's a human being. He's a human being. Just relax. The Greg Gutfeld show is hilarious. They're really funny. He has a fantastic cast, around him. Everybody's awesome. Everybody's funny. It's not rocket science. This is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. He needs to think out of the box. If he just thought out of the box and said, okay, he is known as a person that will fight back. He's known as somebody who will go after the people who go after him. Now he should spend the next 2 years and 4 years really humanizing himself. Or, I know that's a bit crude, but there are people who relish in opposing not his policies, but his personality. I oppose him. He's a despot and tyrant. Well, he doesn't act. What's prison reform legislation and removing Americans from conflict is not what a despot would do. You genius. Well, his personality is the same type of personality a tyrant would have. That's all I'm saying. But Kevin McCarthy, what Kevin McCarthy has to deal with is not opposition to Trump's positions. It's an opposition to Trump's personality. Even if you remove Kevin McCarthy, even if you remove Mitch McConnell, and you get somebody who is, I don't know, more let's say you put Devin Nunes, who's fantastic, or Jim Jordan. I love how they're going after one of the ladies from The View was talking about Jim Jordan and lied and said something that's blatantly not true. She said that he covered up something. He never covered up anything. That's against the law. He was never charged, nor was he indicted or charged. He was never even accused in a court of law, they didn't look. She said that he helped cover up something horrendous. That's not true. And she did so in the context of trying to defend New York's governor. So the truth about them, leads to a lie about somebody, Jim Jordan. And they're the ones who say, well, you know what, it's whataboutism, which I don't care. Like, whataboutism is just basically calling out hypocrisy. You should always engage in whataboutism because the left is, Democrats generally always outraged when it's Trump and never outraged when they get caught with their pants down, literally and you know, from a literary sense. But she had to lie and say Jim Jordan covered up something. He didn't. Then they say, well, what did he know? Well, what did the Lincoln Project know about somebody who has an active criminal investigation? There was never a criminal investigation of Jim Jordan. There's an active criminal investigation of the Lincoln Project co-founder. And all the other co-founders, there's information now that they might have known what he was doing. So, Big Toe! Exactly. My cousin misses Trump the most. Exactly. He does. He does. I mean, there are people who made a name for themselves. They're only claim to fame is opposing President Trump. That's it. That's their only claim to fame. But see, again, it's important, I think, for the next 4 years to find out what is the nature of the opposition to Trump. Is it policy? Is it policy driven, or does it pertain to his personality? I'm not saying for him to change, transform into somebody he's not. But you can be a little bit more diplomatic. There's no point anymore. When he was running against Clinton, what he tried to do is say, look, there are two choices, and I'm going to give you a distinct, and I'm going to be the opposite of Madam Secretary. I will be a very different choice from Democrats. Here are two choices. Pick one. Just pick one choice. I will give you two choices. Pick one of those choices. We already know he's nothing like any other Democrat. He's already differentiated himself. He couldn't be further removed from anything the Democrats have to offer. So now he should just focus on building, I don't want to say building bridges or a coalition, but building alliances. Get Nikki Haley back, get Mitch McConnell to Mar-a-Lago, get Kevin McCarthy. Even though, look, tomorrow he might go after Kevin McCarthy, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you got to build alliances. But I'm not. I agree with you. I'm not saying touchy-feely. No, in terms of foreign policy, his tactics. I'm not talking about his tactics worked, 100%. His tactics work in terms of foreign policy. I'm talking about in terms of social media, with domestic, from a domestic policy perspective. I agree with you. Big Toe, thank you so very much. Thank you, Big Toe. Thank you. No. Look, his brand of diplomacy in terms of international relations worked. It did work. But the fact that he's not on Twitter is the best thing. My God, it is the best thing to ever happen. Because if you don't have his personality to galvanize and to bolster and to foment this, to ignite this, it's the fuel they utilized. It is the fuel that they utilized. If he doesn't change one bit, then, you got to learn from your mistakes a little bit. My God, he's not perfect. I understand. Like, a lot of people are like, he doesn't need to change. It's like, yeah, but then we're gonna have the definition of, well, you know the deal. The definition of insanity, you know the deal. His smile, come on now. You know the deal. Hey, here, let's see. Donald Trump Jr. was good today. Oh my God. Despicable. Hit piece on Madison Cawthorn. Of course. Of course. Oh, and they quote, Madison Cawthorn is not far right. Oh my God. My God, the Washington Post. This is despicable. Here's a young man, Madison Cawthorn, who survived a tragic motor vehicle accident. Okay? To become one of the youngest members of Congress ever. And, of course, the hit piece. The hit piece in the Washington Post. And then how a falsehood helped propel the career. He's not far right. Far right used to mean somebody like outside the political spectrum who fomented, really horrendous thoughts and sentiments. That's not Madison Cawthorn. He says a conservative. Who is a conservative to the Washington Post? Mitt Romney. Only Mitt Romney. Only Ben Sasse. Only anyone who doesn't like Trump. Unbelievable. David Shuvotov. Big toe. Nice. Nice. Oh my God. Oh my God. Big toe. I hope you're okay. Oh my goodness. Nice. Big toe, thank you. Well, thank goodness you're okay. That's the main thing. Big toe, that's the main thing. Thank goodness you're okay, and God bless you. And I've never tried the bullpup that platform. I've never tried that. It'd be interesting to try it one day. Thank you, Big Toe. Thank you. I'm glad you're okay, though. That's the main thing. Sigma Nu UCLA. Neocons like the change. I think that sounds from Ohio, whom voted for impeachment should be voted out ASAP. I agree. Sigma Nu UCLA. Thank you. And that I think is going to take place in that I think is going to take place, Sigma Nu UCLA, in 2022. That's why when I say, like, from here on out, Sigma Nu UCLA, from here on out, President Trump should act in terms of long-term political strategy. Give these people an incentive. Give people on the fence. Like, there are probably a great many people in between. Like, Kevin McCarthy is not so much in between, Kinzinger and Devin Nunes or Matt Gaetz. I'd say Kevin McCarthy is closer to Matt Gaetz. But there are people in between Sigma Nu UCLA, in between Mitt Romney and Rand Paul. So Sigma Nu UCLA, I think I'm going to summarize what I've been saying in my long-winded manner. There are people in between Sigma Nu UCLA. There are people in between Mitt Romney and Ben Sasse and Rand Paul and Ron Johnson. Okay? If you can get a person who's on the fence, like, or a person who is in the middle, kind of could either lean either way. Give that person incentive to run away from the Ben Sass, Mitt Romney mentality. Give that person a political incentive if you're Trump. You can't just say, look, Sigma Nu UCLA, you're 100% right, but like, you can't just, if you're Trump right now, you can't just say, well, you better agree with me and that's it. Because that's not the way Democrats work. They don't have to go to Jimmy Kimmel. They don't have to say, hey, listen, you know what? I want you to defend the Democratic Party. It's every night, by the way. I've never seen this before in my life. It's every night, every single night. With the Daily Show with Trevor Noah, every single day, every single night. Saturday Night Live, every show that's a talk show or a comedy show always tries to prop up like Democratic Party policies or ideology. It's unbelievable. That's never the case. Growing up, when I watched Arsenio Hall or Letterman, Letterman before he became more political, but Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson didn't care. He would talk politics, but he didn't alienate half the country. When I watched Arsenio Hall, he here and there he would talk politics sometimes, but it wasn't trying to alienate half the country. When you watch Jimmy Kimmel, he is working overtime to just disparage half the country, to just demean and disparage. Like, the people who supported Trump, they don't exist. Like, millions upon millions, over 70 million, don't exist to Hollywood. They just simply don't exist. And you can't have, like, in a way, even though that was perhaps the plan, in a way President Trump fed into that. That's what I'm saying. He can't, he should find a way to circumvent that unfortunate reality. No, I'm not dumping on Trump. I'm trying to say there needs to be some kind of you have to learn lessons from. We have to learn lessons from the past couple of years. I remember somebody telling me, a very, very intelligent, extremely intelligent person who doesn't like Trump, but I remember him telling me, is an extremely intelligent person who knows a lot about politics and life. And I remember him telling me if Trump would just, be quiet. This was 2 years ago. We had record low unemployment. He was doing. If he would just, be quiet, people could realize, the good things he's doing. But he can't be quiet. Nobody can know. He's just, annoying and da da. And I completely disregarded it. I said, well, who cares? Who cares? But he was right. He was right. We had so many good, like President Trump presided over great accomplishments. He presided over great accomplishments. But, look at this. There's a hit piece on Madison Cawthorn. Here's a man who should be championed for his courage. Here's a man who... Here's an individual who could have simply said, okay, you know what? I went through a tragedy. And, he not only flourished and was able to accomplish something really profound. He's in his 20s and he's in Congress. How old is Madison Cawthorn? How old is Madison Cawthorn? He's 25 years old. He's 25 years old. He's in Congress. Then, of course, a former classmate says, Madison Cawthorn, this BuzzFeed. Former classmate. What does that even mean? It's like they just... Here you have Cuomo, who literally has somebody making allegations, and with Biden literally has criminal. And then you have a classmate said. This is a classmate that said. More than 36 people told BuzzFeed News they're true. What are the chances the 36 people of 30, over 30 people that they, 36 people? It's just unbelievable. What are the chances they're all Democrats? What are the chances, or never Trumpers? It's like, it's just unbelievable. If you can't find anything on a Republican or a Trump supporter, you then say, well, people have said this about him. Well, yeah, people could also say something about the journalists at BuzzFeed. I mean, it's like, you don't have anything on the man. He wasn't accused or charged. There was no criminal report filed. So you find classmates. Where are the people that apparently that he mistreated? More than 36 people told they are true. Okay. And what if 36 people claimed Biden did something? They would say, well, where's the evidence? And which they did, by the way, regarding the person who did accuse him. This is unbelievable. It's like, there's no, it's just unbelievable. This is the same publication that published the Steele dossier. So it's just unbelievable. Let's see. Okay. Come for Okay, so apparently there are individuals. I didn't read. There are individuals who are reform class. So there are individuals who've come forward. Okay, claiming misconduct. So I didn't read that. Okay, well I'm reading Vox now. So let me read the actual report. So let's see. It's interesting. Did BuzzFeed ever follow up on Tara Reade or the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, the numerous individuals who stated misconduct? It's really unbelievable. Or New York's Attorney General that had to resign, or a litany of okay. Spoke to 36 people who described or corroborated. It's like you could do this to literally anybody. You could do this to anyone at BuzzFeed. You could find 30 people that know somebody that don't like the person. And where were the 30 people corroborating what Tara Reade or what the attorney, the allegations against the lieutenant governor of Virginia, or of the, like, you don't get this. Well, I guess with lieutenant governor you don't get. With Tara Reade you don't get. You did get that, I guess, with there was actually decent reporting with the Attorney General in New York. It's unbelievable. Of course, Cawthorn denies everything. A denial is actually all right if you are a Democrat. Then the New York Times will say, if you file a report, it's actually, and you lie on the report, a criminal report, that's a really bad thing. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's completely unbelievable. And it's interesting. Why are they going after Madison Cawthorn? That's what I would like to know. Probably because, I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, here you don't have the equivalent of the litany of publications against Democratic politicians. And if you do, you immediately, it's always this is all public relations. Here's what I don't understand. Why didn't they get, if they're going to interview, it's, what's more important than interviewing people? Actually finding, was there a complaint? Was there a criminal report filed? Is there some evidence that any of this happened? Because if it's Kavanaugh, it's, oh my God, you have to believe. If it's Biden, no, you can't believe. If it's Bill Clinton, no. Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, no. I mean, it's like the standard by which they judge themselves is not the standard by which they judge others. That's called hypocrisy. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The Durham probe, ladies and gentlemen, is a special counsel. It is a special counsel that it's not going to end until until Durham decides to end it. But also, the main thing is there needs to be political will. He's still a special counsel, exactly, Josh. He's still a special counsel. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. Jacqueline, thank you so very much. Jacqueline McNair, thank you for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for tuning in. I will be back, of course, tomorrow around the same time. I'll have an upload before 11 tonight, and or before 11:30, 11:45 tonight Pacific. So check that out. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you. To my super chat, thank you so